That's it.
Hello and welcome to season 2 of This Is Us. We've had a short break and now we're ready to go. The group is back together again, so here we go. Tyler, how are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Hello, I'm good, thank you. My voice is a bit raspy at the minute, but that's because I've been busy this week doing photography and videography, doing weddings and funerals as well, to be fair. So yeah, I'm good. I'm really good, thank you.
So you've been quite busy?
Yes, always busy, non-stop grafting. But it's
G,
good,
what have you
good
been up
busy.
to?
I was about to say nothing. Working. I've been working. I've been spending time with my son and my husband when I see him, because he's been busy since everything's opening up. He's busy doing grills up and down. But yeah, so far so good. Trying to wait for summer patiently, but we're back to winter.
Yeah. And Jude, are you ready for season 2?
I don't know, but yeah, we are though. Okay. Can escape from it. I don't know when I'm ready because I've been through ups and downs, going through bereavement and all. But yeah, we are, man. The show must go on, as they say.
Well, we have an interesting topic today. So today's topic is, why do we shy away from therapy? My name's Dee, and I'm going to be your host today. We know that therapy is a way that people, or something that people use to help overcome things like fear or to relieve stress and things like that. But it's been said that within our community, people tend to shy away from therapy. So within the Black community, people tend to shy away. Jude, what's your opinion on that?
People tend to shy away from the Black community. I guess if I want to be like real, just joke about it, I would say it goes back to the old meta code. That's the code of silence. We don't snitch, we don't rat, we don't talk about our problems or our business outside. We don't invite the third leg or the third party into our business. But I think it's stereotypical to say that Black people don't do therapy. They shouldn't just put all of us in a box. We don't all fit in a box. Black people do therapy. Maybe the circle we're in of Black people don't do therapy, but in general, Black people do therapy because we talk to our friends. Maybe, okay, paid therapy is different, but we talk to our friends about these things. Some of us are closer to our pastors and elder relatives or older relatives and friends that we trust in the community. And we talk to them, whether they're from our community or not, whether they're the same people like us, but we talk to them about things that we have those confidence and we talk to them about things, those people we're willing to open up to. But yeah, maybe paid therapy is what we don't do a lot. But again, the way I see it personally, man, if I can talk to a friend who can provide his advice for free, or do I have to go pay some Karen somewhere some money to then tell me something why she sits or he sits crossing his legs?
Not Karen.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
I'm talking about stereotypes. That's why I put Karen there. It's also about stereotypical. Yeah, but yeah, I guess it's a code of silence. You don't you put your business to the minimum, not to the whole public. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Because Judith just said that when it comes to therapy, we use our family or our close friends because they're free. We can talk to them about things that stress us, we can relieve.
Yeah.
But then it's that whole, we know that there are professionals who can sort of help dig in and sort of talk you through certain things that possibly friends cannot do. G, what's your opinion in regards to going for a professional or going to a professional therapist?
Well, as someone that is using a professional therapist, I can't over exaggerate the advantages. Yes, you can go to family, you can go to friends, you can go to your pastor, you can go to your imam, you can go to your, what's the Jewish one? I forgot, rabbi.
Rabbi.
Yeah. You can go to your babalawo, you can do all of that. But
I
at
like
the end of the day,
yeah.
At the end of the day, they will, I think it's not fair that you're taking someone's, I don't say personal time, but yeah, personal time. But me from going to a professional, number one, they're neutral. They don't know me from a can of Coke. So they would only give me a completely honest opinion. They're completely unbiased. And you know how even in your friendship group, if you want to talk to somebody, you kind of pick in your hand, okay, if I go to this person, this is what you say. If I go to this, that what you
Yeah.
say. So you'd want to go to the one that will say what you want to hear, as opposed to going to a professional person that doesn't know you from anywhere, that will just assess the situation independently and tell you. It's like how if you have a rash or your baby has a rash and you call your grandma and they'll tell you is something, some ancient something that you have to put palm oil on, as opposed to if you go to a doctor, they'll tell you, okay, this is from my neutral position looking at it, this is what it is. So my opinion is, if you can go to a doctor for physical ailments, why can't you go for mental ailments?
Yeah.
And you can't talk to everybody. Sometimes you just don't want to talk, but if that appointment is in your calendar and you've paid for it, you're just like, you know what, let me just go. Because talking, I can't recommend it enough. And I've always wanted to do therapy even before I started. I just didn't know why I needed therapy. That's the only thing that stopped me from going.
So is it that
And then more people do it, because now I say I'm in therapy. People are like, oh yeah, me too. I did it 2 years ago. I'm still in it. I've been there for 3 years. And it's like this, it's not a secret, but now they're feeling like it's okay to open up because another Black person's doing it. I don't know.
so when you go for therapy, is it that you go on your own or do you go with your partner?
I go on my own. This is just for me. This is not
This is
a
just
couples thing. It's not. I mean, I know people that do couples therapy as a, you know, the same way you take your car for MOT every however often or service. I know people that go for couples therapy just so
So
they don't wait till something is wrong before they go to therapy, basically.
I'm sort of smiling here because we tend to refer to things that we do as humans. We sort of use the metaphor of a car. So we're taking the car for service. So as a couple,
Yeah,
we're taking
yeah.
our car for MOT.
Because if I use a body, it's not the same, because not everybody goes for an annual checkup for their bodies. Well,
But
apart from
then,
us women that have to go for smear tests, but you know what I mean. So that's how some couples do it.
yes. Tyler, so we've just touched on couples going for therapy. What's your views in regards to, so if a couple were having stress or there was something, it might even be something that's holding back and both have emotions that are running high, but are finding it hard to discuss and they feel like they need help. What's your opinion in regards to seeking therapy?
Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking therapy. I just want to quickly say, what you just said was absolutely beautiful. And I've heard like my pastor talk about something similar to what you said, where people sometimes either go to too many people because they want to hear something that they want to hear, or they'll choose the person they'll go to get that word that they know they're going to hear is either, you know, whatever. So for me, I've never done the whole therapy thing. I did do premarital counseling because we had to do that as part of my pastor will not marry you unless you do premarital counseling. And I found that amazing. It was fantastic. So if we're now talking about couples that are struggling and going through stuff, then yes, I would always advise go and get some counseling, definitely. You know, I've been married nearly 4 years now. We've had our ups and downs, as everyone does. We've spoke about maybe having another session or something like that, but we haven't done it yet. So I don't know, maybe one day we will, but we are good at talking about things as well. So at least we're having them conversations with each other, at least. But yeah, I just think it's difficult with the whole therapy thing. And again, going back to culturally and Black people and whatever, if I'm talking about myself personally, I probably should have seen a therapist throughout my years to do with like growing up.
You should have.
To do with anger, to do with my upbringing in terms of moving around, all this kind of stuff. But I never have. And I think it's not something that we really get taught to do, or I didn't really know about these options when I was younger.
It's not in our culture.
It's not, yeah, it's not. And I guess since I've been married, me and my wife have spoke so much about my upbringing and all this kind of stuff that actually it's almost like I've had counseling with her. I know she's not a professional, but I don't know. The reason why I guess I'm hesitant is because I'm like, why am I going to go to this complete stranger, pour out my heart, and they're just sitting there listening, and they may say 1-2 words, and I don't know personally what that's going to do for me, but I've not experienced it, so you know,
it would help
you.
It would help you tie in a lot of what you do now to what happened to you back then. And you may not get that instant, oh, okay, in the session, but you will
Mm.
afterwards, because sometimes they give you homework. I mean, she gives me homework all the time and I don't always do it because I don't feel like, because it's literally me holding a mirror to myself and I'm like, I'll do it when I'm ready. Because it's that thing of opening a can of worms, and
Yeah.
she's the one that's going to professionally help you, I don't know, put the worms in the line so they can all leave or put them back in or something. But if you
Yeah,
do that with
yeah.
you by yourself, you might end up at the bottom of a vodka bottle or something. I don't know.
You
So
mentioned about going to doctor. You made a really good analogy about going to doctors for, you know,
The
physical
rash.
health, and then
Yeah.
the therapist
yeah,
for mental health. But I'm someone that doesn't go to the doctors for
you're a
physical
man.
health.
That's right.
Really?
I'm
You're
physically
a
ill.
No,
man.
but
They don't
no,
go
but it's not
anywhere.
even that. It's not even that. It is, I'm a man, yes, but it's also every single time I've been to the doctors, they will hit me with some stuff I could have just Googled or something. Like, I'm just like, really? Or, you know, take this tablet or something. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to go there, because I know when I go there, they're just going to tell me nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's something that, you know, it's a difficult one, you know?
Well, G touched on something in regards to when we say about we go to a specific friend when we know we've got this problem, and then when we've got another problem, we go to a different friend. I think personally that's probably the way I've got through things without me, because I'm not one to say that I would go for therapy. I put my hand up. I'm probably the sort that would say, why would I need to go? Because if I've got a certain problem, I've got friends for different reasons. So I know which friend I'll talk to. And I know my friends will tell me the truth. They will not sugarcoat it or try and make me feel better about it. They will tell me this is how we can deal with it, or this is what we think you should do, or they will sort of help me through it. But my only thing, and I'm going to pass this question on to Jude, is I can tell my friends to sort of support me and help me through things that are personal to me. But are you able to sort of get that sort of therapy in regards to when you talk about your marriage from your friends? Because you did mention that if you need to talk, you've got friends, you've got family, but when it comes to your marriage, do you think you can still go to your friends, or do we think that it might be a good idea to sort of go the professional path if you are to sort of seek it?
Good question.
I don't know how to answer that. I guess you don't just go to them, but the way it's happened is you're in discussion, normal discussion, and somebody will say, so and so happened at home with me and my missus or me and my husband. And you learn from that, and then you go on to say, actually, I've been through similar stuff, and this is how I get through it. We kind of then become how do I put it? Not PA. We kind of become that, take on that position of an advisory board, and we advise ourselves on how to cope with the matter and go forward with it. And I think one important thing is how we interpret the issue at hand. Do we see it as a problem? If we don't see it as a problem, if we just see it as part of the whole marriage, the whole being together, we don't see it as a problem. Then we don't think we need to go get help. Because when Jill was talking, Jill mentioned something about you go see your doctor for physical. Why won't you see a therapy for mental? Do we actually see these issues as mental? That's a big question. It's a big ask, because I don't see it as mental. That's why I won't ascribe to therapy. But if I had a headache that kept coming and never left, I would go see my doctor, because I see I'm having recurring headaches. But these other issues that we just, oh man, my wife is stressing me out, man. Come on. Whether they went to the shop and she's just being up and up for nothing. And it'd be like, oh yeah, I went through a similar thing too. My wife was doing the same 2 days ago. We don't see it as a problem. We don't see it as mental problem. We just thinking it's part and parcel of marriage. It's what comes with marriage. And we might go, you know what? My papa and my mama, they went through somebody said earlier today where we were. They said, our parents, just using as general, our parents had 16 children and so many wives and so many husbands. How did they cope? So you see, he's not seeing all of that as a problem, because now we're just in singular family unit, and we're thinking we're stressed. But he's comparing it to the previous times and saying it wasn't a problem for them. Why would this be a problem for us to go seek therapy? So you just be like, oh, this generation, we're a bit lazy. So we have to first of all see it as a problem before we seek help. So for me and for my guys that are very close to me, marital issues, deep marital issues we don't talk about, because no one wants to bring their intimate issues out there. But little issues like, oh, Madam not the work, oh, God not the work, or God slacks too much, or God they watch too much TV, all of that. So we can talk about it and say, oh, this is not how I go through that too. I had to ignore her for 2 days and the matter went, or I had to ignore him for 2 days, the matter went. We don't see it as a problem. We see that's just part of the whole relationship and marriage thing. So we deal with it as that. I believe if we start seeing this as a problem as of the physical as well, we will then seek help. Because we don't see it as a problem, because at the end of the day, our impression of the therapist paid, what I would like you to know is we go there and talk, and they talk back at us. Although they do open up, and I've opened up to some friends as well who are not really close to me. I found out that when we start talking, I just start talking about things that I won't be comfortable even sharing with my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm actually opening up more to this person and saying that, and oh my gosh, that's the problem. I even realized that maybe I was the reason for that, from talking to people outside and talking to my wife. But again, we don't see it as a problem to go seek the help of a professional. I think that's where the real issue is for me.
Tyler, in regards to, so if we think about seeking professional help, and we always sort of think there must be a problem. There must be something that needs healing in order for you to see a therapist. But my understanding of things is you don't necessarily need to have a problem. You don't necessarily need to require healing for you just to be able to just dive in a bit deeper within yourself. So I'm just going to ask you, how do you feel in regards to, if you were asked, would you like therapy? As in just to unlock yourself, to explore, not that there's anything wrong, or is that something that you would consider, or is that something that you just be, I need to dive in a little bit deeper to understand?
Yeah, I think I would definitely consider it, because why wouldn't I? I mean, when I was a bit younger, I probably wouldn't consider it, but nowadays I would, because it's all about learning, it's all about conversations, it's all about seeing things from a different point of view, hearing a different technique, speaking to someone else. So absolutely. And with regards to what you were just saying to Jude as well, I think personally on that, when we're talking about relationships, how we were taught with premarital is we have something that was called like, I can't remember the exact name, but it's like a horizontal plane and a vertical plane, or vertical plane, horizontal plane, where we've got elders, a few designated elders that we could go to and these people are accountable for us and our relationship. And they're not my mum or my dad, and they're not my wife's mum or my wife's dad, interestingly, so it's people that are outside the family that they can be accountable for your relationship. So on the up, the elders, and then the people that are on the same level to us. But the people that are on the same level in terms of age and whatnot, they may not be our really good friends. They may just be like couples that we know that are married, that are on a similar journey that we can go to. Because then, like Jude said, something that's too deep, we're not going to talk about that to our close friends, because then next week we're all hanging about as couples, and they're going to be judging them and whatnot. So so we would never have them I would never have them kind of conversations with my close friends. It would maybe like silly things like what Jude said, annoying me or whatever. But even that, hardly really do that, to be honest. So yeah, the horizontal and the vertical plane of people, I think it's good for everyone to have that, because you hear too many people these days that just kind of slag off their partners like openly, and it's all good if we're having an open conversation and saying, look, we all have problems, we all have issues, we all go through stuff. That's fine. But when you're actually saying what it is, that's deep. Like that's, you're out there just slating off your wife or your husband. And people, husbands and wives shouldn't do that, really and truly. Even when you're really angry with them.
When I know you did, Jude, I'm not sure if you did, and G, I can't remember whether you did have premarital counseling or sessions before you got married.
No, I wanted to, but I didn't, mainly because my husband and I, before we got married, we're not in the same country. I wasn't a Christian then, and I still wanted to do it. Even now, randomly, I'll say to him that we should still do marital counseling. It's like, why? I'm like, because we never did it, and I just think it'll be beneficial. And like I said, it's something that I would see.
You don't have to be a Christian, though. You don't have to be a Christian.
This is what I'm saying. I think the main thing that stopped us was because we were not in the same country. So he only moved over 6 months after we got married. So we could still have done it then, but by then we joined a church and we actually had people we could talk to and things like that. So maybe that's why there's all like badger on about it. Because I'm one of those people that I take marriage so seriously that I didn't have enough role model marriages to
Yeah,
I
yeah,
never wanted
yeah,
to get married. I remember when my husband and I first talked about marriage, he said something like, I think I kind of hesitated about getting married. I knew I wanted to be with him, but just like, I don't know. I haven't got any marriages for me to want to live up to or aspire to, or whatever. And he
yeah.
says something along the lines of, why don't you make our marriage the role model marriage you wish you had when you're growing up? So I was like, okay, that's a good idea. But at the same time, I also knew I didn't know everything. And for me,
Mm,
communication is a big deal. It's
Yeah.
a deal breaker. If I can't talk to you, we can't go anywhere. And that's in any relationship, not just marriage, but most
mm,
especially in marriage. So for me, communication was very, very, I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles we went over before we
Yeah.
got married, the whole communication, because I had to make it very clear. If I can't talk to you about absolutely everything I'm feeling, who am I supposed to go and talk to? Yes, my friends are there, but if I need to talk to you about us, I want to talk to you about us, that sort of thing. So
I
there are
think,
random times when we have but I don't want to call them meetings. We'll just have a quick heart to heart, maybe
yeah.
every couple of weeks or so, and just talk for like an hour or so, or whatever. But it's not. I wouldn't say no to therapy or counseling, but you
Mm.
know.
But I think that's sort of a huge topic you've touched there in regards to the reason why you didn't quite rush or push for the premarital counseling, although you both went in the same country. But it's that whole, if you're communicating well and the communication's there, then throughout the marriage, and if you keep that up throughout the marriage, then you're actually talking it through without, you possibly might not even require somebody external if you're able to open up to your spouse and say it as it is, and as a spouse being able to listen and take in, even if it hurts, to hear
Yeah,
what your partner's got to say and work together on that.
yeah,
yeah,
I
but
just wanted
I
to,
slightly disagree though. I slightly disagree only because I hear what you're saying about them constantly. Not, I'm not talking about UG. I'm talking about anyone that's constantly having communication.
yeah,
That's a good thing, yes. But I think what premarital did for me, and not just premarital, but like marriage seminars that we went to and stuff, it taught me a different type of communication because men and women, we communicate differently. So
yeah,
me listening to you right now and saying, yeah, I'm listening, that I may be listening, I may be looking at the TV, watching football, whatever, and I'm listening, but
it's
and that's how I
listening to
listen.
each other.
But yeah, I need to learn how you want me to listen and be like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, I've got your attention, I'm looking
yeah.
at you, I'm present, I'm here, I'm not distracted, I'm not on my phone.
Mm.
Da, 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 da. So
It's like when they say, I
there's
can
little
hear you, as in I can hear you.
No,
Not I can
exactly.
hear you,
I
I
would
can
literally
hear
say,
you.
I always say, pause. Can you please pause the TV? Then we
There you
have a
go.
conversation.
So there's different levels of like when it comes to communication. You know,
Yeah.
communication is,
But,
is
but it appears to me that we're all delving into a business side of things. From what I've been hearing is that we're talking corporate talk. And this is why I tell people we need to treat marriages as businesses, as enterprises, as a contract between two people. So we're in a contract. Because everything you just say is corporate speak. Talking about communications, how you're actively listening. You're not just nodding your head up and you're watching TV. G pointed earlier, it appears as if Judy's looking at something. And I rightly said to her, I'm in a room with my children. They're watching their favorite on TV, Ronaldo. So I'm kind of distracted looking at that, trying to steer them to keep quiet. So this is everything you guys have been talking about, but this is corporate speak. So if we don't treat, because marriages, we tend to say it's personal. It is personal, but I think it's high time we treat it as we will treat our business. If I had issues at work, HR will call us. I don't think when HR is talking to me, I'll be there chewing on my pen or having divided attention to HR because this is serious now. That's why we don't do that when it comes to marriage. Because say this is my own personal terrain. I'm the king here. She's the queen here, or she's the king here. I'm the queen here. Anyone, any roles we decide to take upon ourselves, but we don't treat it as business. If we do, we'll then take it seriously. I say, like, okay, maybe we need, because if you go to work these days, you have different departments where they say for therapy, for massage, for this, for your well-being, or in the home where we actually need that, all of that stuff. we don't talk about it because we see this as personal. It's my personal business. Nobody should be getting into it. But I think it's high time we treat it as business. So if, for example, if my wife was talking and I wasn't actively listening, then she should call me and say, it's going to be sanctioned somehow. It's business. You know,
Mm.
I
Are you
should do
talking
that to
about
her.
marriage or therapy? You're talking about marriage
I'm
in
talking
general
about
now.
marriage. I'm talking about
Okay.
marriage. It's the same way with therapy, because if you have issues at work, they could refer you to therapy, yes or no. So if we treat marriages like that and say, okay, we're having issues, let's go seek a professional help. That's what we don't do all the time. We tend to think, you know what, silence itself is communication, is a way of communicating. I can keep mute. My wife was saying yesterday when my sister was around, he don't speak, he just keep quiet. That's me. When I'm engrossed in my work, my wife is there in the background, I don't hear nothing. I'm just there all through my work. And after I come out of the work, I go out straight to go do my evening walk again. And I come back and I'm in my zone. I might the whole day not even utter 2 or 3 words to my wife, and I come back and I'm talkative. So you see, we need to understand all of this. And when somebody is saying you need help to help you understand all of this, we need to be able to open up and accept it. But when we see our marriages and our own personal lives are where no third party need to come in, we don't accept that aspect. But when we treat it as business, I'm saying we need to treat it as a business enterprise, then we'll be open for help outside. Because if your business was failing, you definitely need your accountant or your banker to advise you. But I'm distracted by that thing going on now, but I like it. I needed to comment on that. Yeah, but you see what I'm trying to say. But in my personal, I take it like, oh no, this is our own personal kingdom. We don't need to get somebody in. But if it was my kebab business falling apart, I'll be calling for professional help. So that's the angle I was trying to talk about. Yeah.
For those of you that are tuning in, we are currently, or those of you that are watching live, we're currently talking about therapy and why do people shy away from therapy. You're currently tuned into 2HB TV. This is us. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and hit the notification button as well to receive updates in between the shows and when we go live as well. Okay. If you're in the chat, please type in any questions or anything you want. We are currently live, so we can respond to you as well. But I'm going to just talk about something that's been trending over the last, I'd say for the last couple of weeks. It's been trending on YouTube. It's called Blue Therapy. We know that they've had 2 couples go up on this show. Tyler, have you heard of Blue Therapy?
Sorry, I haven't. No.
Okay, Tyler hasn't. G, have you?
Yes, I have.
You have. Jude, have you?
I didn't know it was Blue Therapy, but I think people put like 2 seconds when some dude with big beard was talking about.
Yeah.
And they linked him to
Okay,
gay thing.
Blue
So
Therapy.
tonight, though, I checked it and it's Blue Therapy. I said, oh, that's it.
We had 2 couples go for therapy, and it was just them talking about their relationship, and it made a big impact on the whole social media because there was a lot of questions as to whether it was real at first, but we're not even going to talk about that. What we just want to talk about is one of the couples, the partner, the male, initially was very resistant of the therapy. He was against and was actually quite rude to the therapist as well. So he wasn't accepting why he was there. I don't know, G, do you want to talk about that?
I'm glad I've kind of ranted and raved about it in my other group chats, so I don't have to swear here. But, and it's one of those things when I was watching it thankfully on my iPad, and I found more and more I was pushing the iPad further away from me so that I didn't smash it. The guy you're talking about, by the way, guys, the couples, they're both black. They're black couples. And the guy that clearly didn't want to go to therapy and kept being extremely rude to the therapist the therapist was white, by the way, so already he's going to have a problem with it. And he was doing this whole thing about you bring our business out here, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to try and relive any details because I can feel my ears burning already from the anger.
But if we can just talk about how it will resolve towards the end, because we know we don't really want to talk about.
I think they got there in the end, and I think it was like 4 episodes or whatever, I can't remember. And I think it's good that it did get towards it got to some sort of resolution because all the issues did come out, and that show. Or that the particular couple, the one we're talking about, the guy with the big beard, it was very clear that he didn't like the fact that somebody was coming into his business, as Jude calls it, or, into his relationship, like a third party. This is our business, we keep it to ourselves. And it seemed from the girl's perspective that there's so many things. All she wanted to do was get them to talk, and that's what was not happening, which is why they ended up in therapy in the first place, which is what I was saying about communication. So they did get resolution at the end. And all I said at the end in conclusion was more like, I hope that girl doesn't stay with him, because that's not the man for you. Because at the end of the day, just because you've been together for 3 years and you live together does not mean that's a person for you. Just because you feel you need to get married, that whole pressure of you want to get married, you want to do this, and he's making money. He kept going on about his net worth clients or whatever. Like, that's not the be all and end all. If you don't have somebody that has your time, is going to communicate with you. The girl was physically and visibly upset, and there was a lot she needed to get out. And he was just busy being rude to the therapist and doing the whole.
Hold on. What was this on? What was this on?
Sorry?
YouTube or something?
It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
I can't watch these things. I don't believe them.
I'd never seen it before, and it was only because I saw a clip of it that I thought, oh, okay, it's on YouTube. I'll just watch it. I watch it when I'm chopping up my vegetables, when I'm cooking. I don't sit down to watch it as a thing. It's literally background noise for me.
Was it like camera set up, or
it was properly set up? It's fully set up, yeah.
Certain aspects would have been script led. We know that. But for me, what I'm just trying to put across is he was resistant. He was against the therapy. Then towards the end, more of it was unfolded what the problem was.
Yeah.
That they were able to communicate. He opened up and was talking. It might have been real, it might not have, but it's just to show the way that therapy worked on that couple.
But that's a cliche. That's a cliche, though. The guy, because when I saw it today, Blue Therapy,
you have to watch it because I clicked on it. Was funny.
You have to watch the whole thing, Jude. You can't watch just one bit. You have to watch it from beginning to the end.
No, I clicked on it when Gigi said the guy was against it, was anti whatever therapy. Because when I started to watch it this evening, when he walked in, the lady, I think apparently it's his wife, she greeted
his girlfriend
very well. Or girlfriend. She and the therapist, they greeted each other amicably. I was like, wow, that's great. And he just went, like, okay.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there.
And I saw that, I was like, okay, you're trying to put the man in a bad picture now. That's how we're anti-therapy.
I think like he dedefinitely saw it like this girl has gone to report him to somebody.
Yeah, but
and
what
I've heard that phrase
before.
It's
like it fits into the narrative that okay, black men and therapy. That's why I don't believe that. I haven't watched it.
I disagree.
I disagree. Reality TV.
I disagree.
About the other couple because they showed
disagree,
both ways. The other couple was the gentleman that called them forward.
Yeah.
So he's the one that brought them forward for therapy, but yet she was the one ranting on about what the problem was. And that one also took a different toll where we thought she was. Well, I thought she was the one that had the problem.
That was just
only to find out that
that was unexpected. I couldn't believe it. That was. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that has, that there's not much there, anything much to spoil, but if I see that guy, I don't know what I'll do. The younger one. I couldn't believe the end result of that. It was just a waste of my time. Waste of time.
I think this is another thing where we speak about when we go for, I think this is what I think Judas touched on it in regards to why are you going to sort of put out your biggest, deepest, I don't know, you're going to give it out there to a stranger because
but the thing is therapy is not for TV. It is not for TV. You shouldn't be doing therapy for TV. The only therapy stuff I've seen on TV is like I think it's called In Therapy, and is celebrities that go to therapy, but these are celebrities that actually have issues that the public are aware of, like drug addiction or something. So they're going to therapy for something. But to just have random people just go to therapy, I felt the same way, like you don't need to be, it's a private thing, it's a confidential thing. My therapist is not going to discuss anything I talk about with her to anybody. I'm not allowed to record our sessions.
Yeah.
So they're professionals, aren't they? They're sworn.
Do they not take notes?
They take notes, but they don't record it. There's no recording.
Yeah.
They can't record anything. They can take notes.
You touched on something. If someone's like, for example, in my industry, in acting and stuff like that, how do I know that someone will not, even if it's years down the line, how do I know?
You sign a contract.
It's the same as your
Yeah.
medical records. They're
You
not
sign a
allowed to
contract.
give those records out or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I
They're not
signed
allowed to.
about 3 different contracts before my therapy started.
The top professionals, the same range with doctors and social
Yeah.
workers. Like
Yeah.
It's
I've been
only
exposed
if you
to.
it's only if you die and then the
Yeah.
court summons your records that they'll
Yes.
divulge it.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I've been
nobody.
exposed to people's details, intimate details, rich people, poor people, famous people. Well, I don't even discuss that with my wife. I don't say it to anybody. You kind
You
of,
can't say
when you're in
anything.
this role, you actually
Yeah.
forget
Yeah.
though. You actually forget the moment you walk out. That's what I found out because I thought being a social worker, it would be hard for me not to discuss people's issues. But
Yeah,
actually, after you've
not
met them, you
everyone.
forget. You just
Yeah,
forget
but
about them. And
not everyone may be like that though. There still may be
no,
someone that maybe one of their
I think
friends.
it's majority because you know what?
No.
Imagine a therapist seeing like 20 people a day. You think she'll
And
be thinking
remembering
about some Jude Kato?
No.
Some
They
Jude?
have to
Like,
go
oh,
to
I met a guy,
therapy.
dude. Yeah,
They go
so
to therapy every week.
supervision
Therapists
too as
have
well.
to
Yeah.
do therapy every week
So
because
it's
they
difficult
hear
for them
some
to remember.
stuff that they don't really want to hear.
But obviously,
You
if
know.
Boris Johnson or Obama or Trump walked in, they'll remember that. I'm just saying. So
Exactly. There you go. And
They
they may
still
just tell. They may
can't.
just tell one
course.
person. They may
They
just tell one
still
person.
Tala will be the
can't.
major guy now tomorrow for Bond.
No,
And she'll be like,
they're
I know
not.
that fella. He told me this.
They're not
Exactly.
allowed to. They're not
They'll
allowed
get
to.
sued.
Even
They'll get
sometimes when
sued.
you tell
They'll
them
get sued
things,
hard.
sometimes when you tell them very private things, they don't even flinch. They have to
Anyway,
train themselves to just,
None of our professions are foolproof. Anything can happen. Tyler is absolutely
can
right.
happen.
We can
Yeah.
steal. That's why we have data protection. They will be punished for it. But your news is out there already. Like Mark
Leaks.
Hancock recently.
There's
I
so
don't know
many
who
leaks.
used
Leaks.
the
But
CCTV
then
camera.
what kind of stuff can you possibly be going through that is so secretive? If it's that secretive, that's why you need to be
Oh
therapy
no!
in the
Let me
first
tell you something. Let me
place.
tell you something. When I went to do HIV test, they asked me some questions. I had to open up to this woman on some issues. Those matters I won't be discussing it with you, but I had to be truthful to this person, like my GP as well. I have to be open to my GP. How many pints of beer do you drink a week? I can't lie to him or her. I have to be open because they'll find
I
that
just
from my
don't
blood
understand.
test.
I just don't understand why there's so many secrets in general. I just don't get it. That's why people get in trouble in the first place. That's why they have mental issues in the first place.
but
Carrying all that burden around. Like, oh, this secret, that secret. I beg, it will eat you up inside. You gotta talk to somebody.
We've
Yeah.
spoken about adults and therapy, but what about children? What about children that we feel at times can't speak to their adults, can't speak to their friends, and need professional support?
Children need
that's,
therapy the most.
It depends on what age though.
I think that's very deep.
It's
Deep
dangerous.
for me though.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Though.
Sorry, Tyler, what
It could be
did you say?
dangerous.
Tyler?
I think it depends on the age of the child because I think it could be dangerous. Like, you know, children
It could go both ways.
children go through a lot. We know children go through abuse. We know children go through horrendous things, but then also children get the rights to do things like, you know, change who they are, the things like that when they're too young. So there needs to be a fine balance. Like a child could be going, I'll use that as an example. A child could be going to have therapy about saying that they wanna change who they are, this, that, and their parents not letting them or something like that. But they're 8 years old or something, and their parents are trying to guide them and do you know what I mean? So it depends what the situation is. And you know, because then you could have a situation where your child's essentially going against you, you know? Yeah. So what's right, what's wrong? I don't know, man. I think it's deep.
I guess what Tyler is saying, no shit. It's a danger area. Look, I'm not a professional in that field to say things about whether children should have therapy. But I think if a child should have therapy already, if we ask that question, something must be definitely seriously, significantly wrong for we to be saying a child should go through that. Like Tyler saying, what Tyler was trying to say is children, they continue to formate through all of that years. So whatever trauma they've been through, they could overcome all of that trauma. Therapy, don't forget this, as social workers like me, we're in this society for some specific reason. We're doing a job. It's not like we're coming here to repair you. We're not mechanics who will just fix your carburetor. No, we're doing a job.
There is a difference between you and the therapist.
No, we're doing a job. No, we're the same. Even the therapist getting paid. Therapists don't do.
You're not a therapist.
No. Actually, I'm a therapist. I'm a counselor. I'm a doctor. I'm a carpenter.
You can be
I'm a mechanic.
counselor. There's a difference.
No. Even the therapist.
It's not about that. A therapist is actually a type of doctor.
They're doing
You're
a
not
job.
a doctor. You're a counselor. You're a counselor.
They're doing a job.
I'm sorry. I know a lot of social workers
They're
You're
doing their job.
counselors. You can
They're doing their
counsel,
job.
but you're
as
not a
somebody that works
doctor.
with children,
Let me land. They're doing their job. So for me to say, for them to repair a child, come on, man, they're doing their job. We refer children to therapists, but this guy for therapy and to therapists, but they're doing a job. They really don't give a damn about whether you get repaired. They do the job, they tick the box.
So they might as well let you do the therapy then.
No, this is it. That's what
So
I'm saying.
what's the point? If you're saying you can do the therapy,
What I'm trying
why
to
refer
say,
them to
society,
therapists
look,
then?
as social workers, children's social workers have different theories they use. So as therapists, they do. These theories do cross each other. They do crisscross. Some are only just different a bit. They all use this 3 this happy family therapy. They use different things to work with children. What I'm saying at the end of the day, they tick boxes. We've done these sessions with you, child. We've got 8 sessions with you. That's what's been paid for.
So
Bye.
Correct me
It
if
can
I'm
never be the same as the parents if the parents were up to par. So if a
correct
child
me,
was seeking therapy, there's problem already. A significant problem.
correct
Yes.
me if I'm incorrect. What you're saying is children that are advised to go for therapy are just taken through as a process rather than it being something that's there to actually help them. So it's sort
what
of
the
like
system is for. It's what it is. Social work, therapy, doctors, counselors, it's all of this.
I understand that, but what I'm going to put forward is there are children that have gone through, as a social worker, you would know, children have gone through things. They've gone through so many things in life at a very young age. We can't
what I'm saying, I'm not disregarding the process. I'm saying that's what the process is, but people do get help from it. I'm not saying they don't get help. You get where I'm coming from. So if G's used therapy and she's from G, that's when I decided to go into therapy because she's got something from it. The process is there, but not everybody get the help that they want, that will send these people there for. I spoke to Tyler recently. I said, I saw some of his pictures and something just cropped up in me and said, look, go for that. That's my form of therapy. And this is what I said to Tyler. I'm not ashamed to say it here. I said, Tyler, what I saw from your work, and this is why I'm coming, it might just spark that thing that I'm missing, that is lost. And he said, yes. And he sent me things. And that is what I needed at the time. That's therapy. I'm saying that process is there, but not everyone get that help because at the end of the day, if I refer a child who's 13 for therapy for 8 sessions, you think that therapy will go and do extra 7 because they love the child? They want to see this child survive? No, they'll do their 8. And they'll say, this child, that's it, or he needs more, or she needs more. That's what I'm trying to say. The process is there.
Can I just interject here?
Yeah.
A lot of people that haven't been in therapy, like most of you on this panel, don't always understand that there's different types of therapy. So the one you're talking about, the one that most people know, is when you're going to sit on somebody's couch and they talk to you and you talk to them. That's the most basic form.
There's different types. I've come across
different types.
Therapy.
I have to date, I have seen 2 different ones. I've seen a psychotherapist, a clinical psychotherapist, which is the top, which involves MRI scans, involves brain scan, neuro, this, that, the other.
Mental health, everything, everyone.
And then there's the psychologist. So those are actually medical people. So when we use the word therapy, it's a general collective. It is.
We have talking therapy as well. We have just talking therapy sessions. We have all of that.
If kids, it's as simple as, yes, I believe kids need therapy depending on what they've gone through. I'm not just talking about abuse. If your parents have got a divorce and you're 12, 13, that's a pivotal age. Your child needs therapy because your mom is going to tell you what they want to hear. Your dad is going to tell you what they want you to know. That's how it works.
Every child has gone through. Every children that's gone through
divorce. I listened to a podcast recently with a therapist for children that said, can I finish? Can I finish? Every child, yes, that's what I was just saying.
Why is that?
Because it was from a therapist that works with children that have been through, that have divorced parents. Yes, at least give them more sessions. Let them go.
Is that opinion, albeit professional?
It's just an opinion. We're offering opinions here.
But they've been children.
The same way you're beating your opinion down on my head, I'm just saying.
I'm not
it's also an opinion.
I'm trying to see the whole.
Any child that's gone through any sort of abuse or trauma, which is what divorce is. Divorce is a trauma. Go see a therapist. They don't have to do the 8 sessions or whatever has been paid for.
What if they don't describe? What if they don't interpret it as trauma for them? What if they go through life, they don't see it as trauma? That's why I'm
There's so many studies that have showed to date how divorce
Studies, of
affects
course.
people in later life. People
It's
from,
studies.
even
Those are
if it's
studies.
not,
And studies is
as
not about the
opposed to
general
what do you think
population.
studies are based on?
The studies
Studies
are
are
not
not
general
based,
population. Studies are
are not,
select.
I'm sorry,
They
G, you're
select
wrong.
group, though.
I'm sorry,
in
you're
They
wrong.
regards to
select
Because
group.
children,
studies are based on actual fact.
I'm not saying
when
they're not
Things
actual.
that
I'm saying they're
happen.
on select group. They're not on
No,
all
no,
of
no.
us.
This is okay. This is what's happened. This person is now 30 something years
No,
old.
no, but
They're going to
it's not on
therapy. If
everybody.
they went
Did
to
they study you?
therapy when
Did they research on you
this
on the
happened,
studies?
this would have been
No.
fixed. But for
okay,
No, that's
someone in
one.
your position, you should be for therapy for
No,
children.
no, no,
But
no.
because you're not, and you see it as a paycheck,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Dude, right. In regards to children, I understand when you say when a child has gone through something, it might not be therapy, but they need somebody, they need something
That
in
is
place.
not the parents, exactly, yes.
There are different things in place. And as I said, as somebody that works with children, we have different things that come in depending on what the child's needs. As you said, Jude, I agree with you. It is tick boxes, but we have to remember these children are going to grow into adults. If they haven't had any form of support growing up, what would they be like when they're adults? If we can support younger along the lines, that's still something that can help. It might not, it might just be a tick box exercise that they go through and will still need support later on, or it might do something and help that child. So we start as early as possible. That's how I see it. There are different types of therapists, and there are therapists that are for children. Jude, you're aware of that. G, you're also aware of that. In regards to the divorce, we know when children do go through things like that, they need, it might be a family member, it might not, it's just someone away from the parents that are going through that. They need somebody that they can heir to. And professional help might be the right way for them. Depends on the individual child. Okay, so today we have been talking about why we shy away from therapy, although according to the panelists, it looks like all of us have got our own different views in regards to whether we will seek professional help or whether we will just stick to what we're used to in regards to speaking to those that we know are our friends or our family. This is actually a topic that's been very interesting. There's few other things I wanted us to touch on, but unfortunately time has run away from us this evening. So what I wanted to say to you all is, if you could please subscribe to this channel, hit the notification button and for the bell to receive notifications. Leave a comment if you can and the like. And thank you for tuning into This Is Us. And we will see you next week.
Thank you, people.
Bye.
Have a good one. Ciao, ciao.
Jeez, I can't believe G brought